Hey, how's it going? Kenny here, and welcome back to another tactic testing video. And up in today's video, I'll be testing the tactic Hefna version 1. Before we get started with this tactic though, guys, I'd like to reiterate that I am not the creator of these tactics. I am merely here just testing the tactics out to see how they get on. If you're interested in checking out the creator of the tactic, then there'll be in the link in the description below, which will take you to his page there. Also, if you're new to my tactic testing videos here, I'd like to point out that I test these tactics out with every single Premier League club. I select use current match tactics. I make myself unsackable for the sake of the experiment, and I go on holiday for the entire season. So just because Liverpool are set up here as the team with the tactic doesn't necessarily mean they will feature in the video here today, because I've picked out the 3 teams who I think have been the most successful with the tactic. Also, to show the other side of the spectrum, I've decided to feature the team who I think has had the least success with this tactic. So the tactic itself, the reason I was drawn to it is because, as you can see here, it's a little bit different, as you can say. We've got a back 3, if you can call it a back 3, I guess. You've got 2 central defenders in there, one with a stopper mentality and one with the cover mentality on there. We've also got a right back with wing back attack on, a left wing back on support. I don't quite understand that, but if it works, then what am I to say about anything to do with this tactic? You've got 2 DMs in there as well, 1 ball in the field and defend, a regista in there as well, which you don't usually see a regista in this FootballManager, has to be said. We've got sweeper, keeper and support in goal as well. Inside forward attack on the right wing, a winger on attack on the left wing, a shadow striker and a pressing forward on attack. Also, the mentality is positive, got lots of instructions as well here with the tactic. You've got much shorter passing, but passing to space as well. Fairly narrow attacking width. You've got play out of defence, underlap left and right, slightly higher tempo, whipped crosses as well, dribble less, and be more expressive. So it's not really instructions I'd put together with a tactic, to be honest. But also, I don't create tactics, so what do I know? I just test them out. In transition as well, you've got distribute to centre-backs and full-backs, counter press, counter, and distribute quickly. And then out of possession, we've got a much higher defensive line, high press, trigger press much more often, and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. So looking at the tactic, it's a very attacking tactic. Positive mentality, much higher defensive line, also with a left wing back in there as well. So this area of the pitch here, will it be susceptible to a lot of counter attacks? Who knows? We shall see. Underlap left and right is interesting as well. Much shorter passing to space. It's an interesting one. That's what I like. I like interesting tactics. Don't really know how it's going to get on. But anyway, without further ado, let's go check out the team who I think has had the 3rd most success with the tactic. So the team I think has had the 3rd most success with this tactic is Wolves. As you can see here, they finished up as high as 5th in the league, qualifying for next season Europa League. 64 points. A couple of seasons ago, you wouldn't say that was that great for Wolves, to be honest. They look like one of those teams. Them and Leicester, they're one of the teams that are pushing for the cracking into the top 6, top 5, top 4 even maybe. Obviously, Wolves and Leicester have really gone downhill since then. Leicester in the Championship now, and Wolves could be joining them this season in real life. We shall see about that. But 5th in the league for Wolves, a team who finished 15th or 16th in real life, I think it was. But did finish in the bottom half as well. Definitely overachieved. Also got to the quarter-final of the FA Cup and got knocked down in the 2nd round of the Carabao Cup by Everton as well. 6 points off the top 4, which is nice, but looked like they had a bit of a battle for the top 7 finishes, has to be said. Very tight there, but they finished 5th in the league. Europa League football for Wolves as well. Very, very good season. Let's check out the league table in full here then. First of all, Pablo Sarabia with 19 goals, the 3rd top goal scorer in the league. You wouldn't really associate him with being a striker, so that's definitely a very good return. Also, he got 13 assists as well. 2nd highest assist maker in the league as well, so he had a blinder of a season, it seems. 19 goals and 13 assists. Where did he actually play for Wolves? I'm interested now. Well, he played mainly as a shadow striker, but look at that record. 41 games, 20 goals, and 15 assists with 7.47, so wow, what a season Sarabia had. What about Wolves this season, and how many goals did they score? Well, okay, they scored 84 goals, Wolves, which is very, very nice. But 72 goals conceded is not amazing, it has to be said. Is that the worst defence in the league? It's actually the worst defence in the league, 72 goals conceded. But they still managed a plus 12 goal difference. So 84 goals definitely did balance out as 72 goals conceded. Although that is a lot of goals to concede, it has to be said. But also, on the bright side, you're not going to be bored with this tactic, it seems. You play with Wolves, because what's that? 156 goals in total in their game, so pretty nice, it has to be said. But 84 goals is very nice, but defensively, of course, could do a lot better. Well, I'm not going to be too surprised who the best player of the season was. Yeah, Pablo Sarabia with 20 goals and 15 assists. Of course, he's the best player of the season. Also, Matheus Nunes had a brilliant season. Great player he is, isn't he? 42 games, 17 goals and 8 assists for him. Where was he playing? Well, he was mainly playing on the right wing. 16 goals and 6 assists from the right wing. I didn't even know he could play right wing, to be honest with you. So, that's rather nice, has to be said. Ruben Neves as well, playing in Saudi Arabia these days, of course. 7 goals, 8 assists for him. Pedro Neto did really well. 14 assists. Matheus Cunha got 18 goals and 8 assists as well. Max Kilman, despite them being terrible defensively, he's still putting a 7.12 average rating, which is quite bizarre. Adama Traore as well, 5 goals and 4 assists. Only 8 starts for him then. Who was the letdown of the season then? Well, Raul Jimenez, he played 24 games. Still got 9 goals, but he got a 6.72 average rating, which of course is not good. Jose Sa, the keeper, didn't do particularly very well with a 6.74. And Johnny, who mainly played as left wing back, I should imagine. Yeah, left wing back, he didn't do too well either. So defensively, had a bit of frailties, it has to be said. Although Nathan Collins put a decent average rating, has to be said. Semedo did as well. And obviously Kilman got a 7.12. So it looks like the goalkeeper and the left wing back let Wolves down a little bit. Because without all those goals conceded, how far could they have gone? Because going forward, they're brilliant. But defensively, a bit shambolic. But all in all, doesn't really matter really. Worst defence in the league. They still finished 5th in the league. So that is amazing. Anyway, guys, let's go forward now then. Let's go check out the team who I think has had the second most success with the tactic. And that team is Liverpool. And although they didn't win a single trophy, they came very close to winning a quadruple. You know how they came close to winning the quadruple 2 seasons ago now? Obviously, they won the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, finished 2nd in the league and lost the Champions League final. This time weren't as good, but they finished 2nd in the league with 84 points, which is definitely respectable. Can win the league with that points tally, it has to be said. They also lost in the final 2 games of the season, so 2 wins in their final games, they were finished on 90 points, so very close to winning the title, actually. They got to the Champions League final where they lost, they got to the FA Cup final where they lost, and they got to the Carabao Cup final, which they lost. So they played in every single game they could play in, again, similar to 2 seasons ago. Bit devastating the fact they didn't win the title, but the reason I've included them in here because obviously I've gone on holiday for the tactic, and if you won on holiday, you got to all these finals with a bit of in-game management. We could be talking about a quadruple right now for Liverpool, so that is how close they were. They did win the Community Shield though, so at least they won a trophy, but to get to 3 finals and not win one of them, it's a bit devastating. But all in all, if you start off with this tactic, you've got to feel a little bit positive about it. You know, if you get 2nd, Champions League final, FA Cup final, and the Carabao Cup final. That is pretty good going, it has to be said. I'm interested to see how good they were defensively then, apart from, like Wolves. Wolves are terrible defensively, of course. Well, in terms of the top goal scorers, 2nd and 3rd are both Liverpool players. Darwin Nunez with 25, Mo Salah with 20 goals. They're 2 are 2nd and 3rd with the average rating as well. It looks like we're following theme here. Going forward is great, but defensively it doesn't look too good, I should imagine. Well, no, not quite. Not as bad as... well, they only lost 4 games all season as well, by the way. And they lost their final 2 games of the season. So they came really close to winning the title as well. They drew too many games, though, it has to be said. But, yeah, impressive go at it from Liverpool. Of course, Liverpool, in FootballManager at the start, FM23, they are by far the 2nd best team in the Premier League. Not so much these days, it has to be said, but at the start of this FM, it's just really 2 teams who can win the title. That is Man City and Liverpool. So, not great in that regard, but also you've got to see the positive signs from it. 88 goals scored is very nice, just below Man City with 90. 40 goals conceded as well. It's a whole lot less than Wolves' 72, so not that bad. I just think they've been really unlucky, to be honest. Really, really unlucky. Let's go check out who they lost to in the finals then. They lost in 3 finals. Wow, look at that. How devastating is that? They lost the Champions League final to Man City on a penalty shootout. Look at the state of this as well. Oh my word, what a game this must have been. What a Champions League final. Imagine a Champions League final like this in real life. Erling Haaland made it 1-0 in the 4th minute. Nunez made it 1-1. Joel Matip made it 2-1 in the 81st minute. So this is how unlucky they've been. Bernardo Silva got the equaliser in the 95th minute. How disgusting is that? Went to extra time. They both got a goal in extra time. Who on earth is Ferdy Kadioglu, by the way? I have never heard of this guy. Maybe I should have. But anyway, he is not important for the sake of this video. And then they lost in the penalty shootout, unfortunately. So how close they come to winning the Champions League final. Probably about a minute away from winning it. So that is devastating. Also more devastating is they lost the FA Cup final to Man City as well. exactly 1 week before the Champions League final, and they lost after extra time 2-1. So again, how devastating is that? Darwin Núñez got him back in the game in the 74th minute, but Phil Foden, the match winner in the 114th minute. In the Carabao Cup final, they lost to Arsenal 2-0, not Man City. But that is absolutely devastating, isn't it? They were literally about 30 seconds away from the Champions League final. They lost the FA Cup final in extra time. The Carabao Cup final was more convincing, but they also lost their final 2 games of the season at home as well to Newcastle and Leicester. They actually finished off the season with 4 losses in a row. So without those four losses in a row, who knows where Liverpool could be right now? We could be talking about at least a treble, maybe a quadruple as well. So absolutely devastating. Really, really unlucky, it has to be said. What about the players then? Who has been best player of the season with this tactic? Well, Mo Salah, no surprises there really. Normally is their best player. 29 goals and 12 assists in 47 games. He's definitely put in better numbers than that. But 41 goal involvements in 47 starts. That's pretty good, isn't it? Also, Darwin Núñez, not as good as Salah, it has to be said. But he got 35 goals and 9 assists in 53 games. Fabinho wouldn't look like he's a bit of a rock. 2 goals and 7 assists at 7.17. Konate, Van Dijk did really well as well. Cody Gakpo got 10 goals and 8 assists. Diogo Jota got 17 goals in just 14 starts. So great from him. 15 assists for Harvey Elliott. 10 goals for Carvalho as well. Just all the team did really well, it has to be said. Naby Keita wasn't the best with 6.84, but he only started 19 games. So, yeah, I just think they've been ridiculously unlucky, to be honest. You look at the players here, pretty much 15 players, probably more than that, to be honest, with over a green rating for the club. Got to every single final they could get to. Lost on penalties to Man City. Lost after extra time to Man City. And also only just lost the league title as well. So, very, very close to an unbelievable season for Liverpool. In the end, you'd say, you know, as a fan or as a board member, you'd say it was a failure because they lost in 3 finals. But looking at it from a FootballManager point of view, they came so close and unlucky in the end, unfortunately. Anyway, guys, before we get started with the teams that had the most success with this tactic, let's go check out the other side of the spectrum. Let's check out the team who had the least success with the tactic. And that team is Chelsea. Before we get started with their results, though, guys, please remember that if you do like this video, hit that like button for me. It's very important for the video's success. And also, if you're new around here and you want to see more from me, do hit that subscribe button as well. It'll also really help me out and it's much appreciated. So Chelsea, wow, they've been absolutely horrendous. Horrendous. They finished 17th in the league. You know, they were absolutely terrible in real life. They finished 12th in real life. With this tactic, they finished 17th. So this tactic is by no means perfect. Is there any such thing as a perfect tactic? Definitely not. No tactic can be perfect unless you win 38 games out of 38. This tactic, though, on the whole, is done relatively well, I'd say. Most teams have got to their expectations or exceeded their expectations. There are a few clubs who finished below their expectations, only just though, and a couple of teams who did terribly. Chelsea were the worst, finished 17th in the league. Only one team got relegated with a tactic, though, and that was Crystal Palace, who finished rock bottom of the league. So, as I said, most teams, you know, they got to where they was predicted to finish at the start of FootballManager, or they exceeded expectations, or they were terrible like Chelsea. But other than Chelsea, no one really flopped that much. Crystal Palace obviously finishing bottom is not great, but it's not too surprising to hear them finishing bottom, to be honest. But Chelsea 17th, absolutely horrendous. They did lose their final 4 games of the season, though. So if they did win those 4 games, they could have finished 11th in the season, but still that would have been absolutely terrible. But 17th is just, wow. Only 7 points clear of the relegation zone. So if you're Chelsea, best not to use this tactic, it seems. But anyone else, it works nicely for them. Champions League got to the quarter-final, though. Knocked out by Barcelona. Got to the quarter-final of the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup as well. So they went quite far in all those competitions. But we are talking about Chelsea, aren't we? They are a worldwide team. And they should be doing a hell of a lot better than this. Their league record is absolutely shambolic. Obviously, as I said, for the sake of the experiment, I become unsackable. That is why I am still in a job here with Chelsea. Because I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be if we had a season like this. It's pretty darn useless. I want to see how many goals they conceded, though, Chelsea, and how many goals they scored. Well, they actually scored 59 goals, so I think they've been let down in the goal department, to be honest. They conceded 70 goals, which, of course, is not great at all. But we saw Wolves finish 5th and conceding 72 goals, and they scored 25 more goals than Chelsea. So that is where they've been lacking, Chelsea, has to be said. And, of course, we know Chelsea, especially in this FM, they have not got an out-and-out goal scorer. So with an out-and-out goal scorer for Chelsea. You know, you want to sign Osimhen or something, then we could be talking about a 5th place finish again, or which of course is still not amazing for Chelsea. But if Wolves can finish 5th and concede 72 goals, then I'm pretty sure Chelsea can finish in the top 4 and concede 70 goals. So maybe it could work for Chelsea. You just need an out-and-out striker. Who was their top goal scorer then? Probably Kai Havertz. Yeah, Kai Havertz with 25 goals in 48 games, which always baffles me, to be honest, because he can't hit a barn door in real life, can he? Let's be honest. Mason Mount as well with 16 goals and 11 assists. But that seems to be about it, to be honest. Who else scored goals in the season? Joao Felix got 12, and Aubameyang got 5. So yeah, there's not enough goals in the team, it has to be said. And also some big disappointments as well. You look at the state of Cucurella there, and Thiago Silva, 6.72, 6.72. Reece James was 6.79 as well. So maybe they have been let down in defence, it has to be said. But also, they could have added more goals to the team. But anyway, guys, without further ado, let's get started with the team who had the most success with this tactic. And that team is Everton. Everton, I was so surprised when I saw their results with the tactic, to be honest. They finished as high as 3rd in the league, Everton. Everton 3rd in the league. Wow. I think it'll be a long time before we're saying that in real life. They're a shambolic club in real life, aren't they? Absolutely shambolic the way they're run. I think they're pretty lucky they got Sean Dyche, to be honest. I think they'll keep him up in real life. He's a very good manager, but 3rd in the league. Champions League football for Everton. Wow. Who would have thought that could happen? Who would have thought that could happen? But it has happened. Only just got in their mind. 2 points clear of Man United in 5th place. 15 points behind Liverpool in 2nd place. They're fierce rivals, of course. So they didn't come close to winning the league title, it has to be said. But 3rd in the league for Everton. Champions League football. That is incredible. Incredible. FA Cup knocked down the 3rd round by Villa. And the Carabao Cup knocked down the 2nd round by Newcastle. So that probably helped in their battle for Champions League, to be honest. So yeah, amazing. 69 points though. Some seasons that wouldn't get you Champions League football. But at the end of the day, the league don't lie. They finished 3rd in the league. And they're playing in the Champions League next season. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 23 goals for him, 2nd top goal scorer in the league. I think it's safe to say he's very crucial to the club. If he stays fit, they might have a good season. Alex Iwobi as well, the most assists in the league with 15. So those two did really, really good, it has to be said. Everton won 21 games in the season, so over half their games they won. That's really nice. 6 draws and 11 defeats. And look at this. 78 goals scored for Everton, so very nice. And only 56 conceded. I say only 56 conceded. That's still quite a lot, but for Everton, it's a bit on the low side. And also, we saw Wolves concede 72. We saw Chelsea concede 70 as well. And Liverpool only conceded 40. So 56 goals conceded for Everton with their defence. Very, very nice, has to be said. Plus 22 goal difference. Yeah, just a brilliant all-round season from Everton. Really, really surprised. In terms of the best player of the season, well, I'm guessing it's Calvert-Lewin or Iwobi. No, it's not. It's Demarai Gray. Demarai Gray with 16 goals in 39 games and 4 assists. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he only started 29 games, so he probably picked up another injury. Or does he start off with an injury? Yeah, he does. He starts off with an injury, doesn't he? He starts off with 4 months out, so they still did that well with their star striker missing for 4 months. Wow, incredible. But 23 goals in 29 games for Calvert-Lewin is a very nice record. Dwight McNeil as well did really well, 6 goals and 8 assists. Iwobi, 5 goals and 15 assists. Onana did really well, 5 goals and 6 for him. More pay when he came in. My word, he's another one who can't hit a barn door, isn't he? 12 goals and 11 starts for him. That's really nice. Tarkovsky put in a green rating as well. So, yeah, all in all, what a season. What a season. Who was the letdown then? Well, Mikalenko, left wing back, was 6.75. That's something I could possibly think that the tactic could be changed. You know, do you really need a left wing back in there? Can it just not just be a left back? Would it make the tactic better? I'm not sure. Maybe the creators thought about that themselves. But in my opinion, if I was to start with this tactic, I might just scrap the left wing back and put the left back with the same role in there. And maybe that will help things. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, all in all, the tactic has been successful in my opinion. As I said, most teams did well. They either got to their expectations or exceeded their expectations. I'd say maybe 4 or 5 teams did below average, and only one really, really did struggle, and that was Chelsea. Crystal Palace finished bottom as well. You could argue the case that they really struggled as well. But other than those two, most teams did quite well. And also, only one team won a cup or a trophy with this tactic. And you'd be very surprised to hear what team that was. Tottenham. Yeah, Tottenham won a trophy. They came 6th and won the FA Cup. So I guess they did pretty well as well. But as you can see yourself, Liverpool got to 3 finals, came very close. A few teams finished 2nd as well. Man United finished 2nd. Man City finished 2nd, which of course is nothing to shout about. But all in all, it's not the greatest tactic I've seen, but definitely a tactic you can work with. And as I said, personally, I'll just change the left wing back straight back to a left back. But yeah, Everton finishing third in the league. There's obviously something good about the tactic. Wolves finishing fifth as well. And Liverpool coming very close to a quadruple. But that is the end of the video, guys. As I said, please remember to hit that like button if you like the video. It really does help the video success out a lot. And also, if you're new around here and you want to see more, do hit that subscribe button as well. It really helped me out and it's much appreciated. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.